Might as well win it while we're here.
A shot to right center field, and look at Moustakas, who will likely clear the bases.
Moves, competing, and winning.
What a great at-bat by Mike Moustakas.
Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and after a great road trip, the Royals are home for just 4 and a series with the Baltimore Orioles. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and with those late nights in Cincinnati and that very early morning arrival in Boston, nobody would have complained for a 3-3 road trip, but the Royals continue to invent ways to win ball games.
They're a resilient bunch. We haven't witnessed a top of the 9th inning on the road in a long time like that. 33 come from behind wins that made yesterday's win, and this is a characteristic that really is special. This team never quits. And if you'll notice, from Butera to Escobar to Kane, all of them going to the opposite field, even Hosmer. And that ball was way outside, but they're shortening up, just trying to keep that line moving. This team never quits, and it was evident last night. Wonderful to see this opportunity that Moose had, and he delivered on the 10th pitch. That's very special.
And the Royals have been clutch all year. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard reminds us of the Royals' numbers, and maybe they've met their match in this series because the Orioles have been the same.
Birds have been falling out of the nest. There's no question, though, in the standings, but they're a very potent offense, and it's going to be up to the Royals to pitch under their bats. They're very powerful.
They will face Chris Medlin. Joel and Monty will talk about his first start as a Royal tonight after 11 consecutive scoreless innings out of the bullpen.
A starter 11 times in his career, twice last season, went 0-2 with a 7.36 ERA against the boys in blue. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joe Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, the 5'11" righty, here to talk about the 5'10" righty and some similarities between you and Chris Medlin. But you only started once in your career, all bullpen otherwise. He's done both. How does that compare for him?
Well, he's been really good both as a starter and a relief pitcher, Joe. And I think the biggest reason why is his ability to throw all three of his pitches. He's got a curveball, he's got a changeup, and a fastball. And when you're not a dominant guy with that fastball, you have to use all three of your pitches. And I think that's why he's been able to be so effective in both of these roles. So I don't think you'll see really much difference in what you're going to see from what we saw in the bullpen in his outings earlier this year and tonight.
From 2012 to 2013, only Clayton Kershaw had a better ERA among starters in the major leagues. And this will be his first start as a Royal, first in the big leagues since September of 2013. First pitch is next.
Across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Chevy dealers today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And today is the type of day in Kansas City where you would make a postcard. It is just beautiful. Baltimore Orioles in for 4. They have lost 4 in a row, all to the Minnesota Twins. In fact, Minnesota swept the season series from Buck Showalter's Orioles. They went 0-7 against the Twins, and now they are 6.5 games back in the American League East, picked by many to win the American League East. And Hud, their problems this year are not offensive related.
No, this is another powerful baseball team that they'll face, looking especially from their leadoff hitter on. You know, Machado, he has definitely been a beast for them, and he's leading off really because they don't have a prototypical type leadoff hitter, but they're powerful. Medlin will have to do all he can, and company, because Medlin probably go 5, maybe 6 innings, so the bullpen will have to do their thing too if they want to beat him.
Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and Chris Medlin, he gave up 4 runs in his Royals debut, and now in his last 6 appearances, that covers 11 scoreless innings and 10 strikeouts over that stretch, with the opponents hitting just 167 without 1 single extra base hit. And now the Royals defensively, presented by Ford. And Chris Medlin, who is also a college shortstop when he was drafted by the Braves. Very good fielding pitcher and has a quick move.
Better believe it. He's a tremendous athlete, and we've already witnessed that in Cincinnati when he had the bat in his hand, laying down a beautiful sacrifice bunt. But he has a bulldog mentality, great mound presence. This guy, and what that means is he looks confident, and that's exactly what he can do with his pitches. Fastball, curveball, changeup, 3 pitches, and good to see John Hirsch back.
Royals are just home for 4. Enough time to do some laundry and then head back on the road. They'll be in Tampa Bay over the weekend and then back to Kauffman Stadium for a 9-game homestand. And believe it or not, tonight is the first of the final 3 homestands of the year. Ned Yost said that Chris Medlin will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70 pitches for his limit tonight, but Chris Medlin did not want to know that. He did not want to be looking up at the scoreboard and seeing where he was. He just wants to go out and pitch.
Gotta love that. He's well prepared.
Machado jumps on the first pitch, and Lorenzo Cain has to run to the warning track, and did he have it? He ended up with it, but did he have it the whole time? Joe West, second base umpire, calls it an out. And we'll see if the Orioles want to get another look at it. Did it ever ricochet off the wall, or was it in his glove or in his possession the whole time?
Yeah, it was great focus. You know, first pitch of the game, center fielder not expecting to go all the way to right center to make that play, but Lorenzo Cain, he tracked it perfectly. They'll have to see. From our naked eye up here in the camera, it is hard to see. Once he caught it, did he hold on to it? Ooh, man. I don't know. It looked like it bounced off the wall on that replay because he had it in the glove. He just couldn't close it in time. Great effort.
So Chris Medlin appreciates it for the time being, and you could imagine if the Baltimore Orioles had a sick feeling in their stomach when they saw that, because Lorenzo Cain was the American League Championship Series MVP, getting the job done with his bat and his glove as the Royals shocked the Orioles and swept that 4-game series.
Well, I think manager Buck Showalter right here is seeing if he can get an official's review instead of making it official. He's wanting them to make a decision on that, but it'd be a mistake if they didn't replay it. So they're going to replay it.
So Joe West will jog in from second base. He was the umpire who made the call.
Interesting first hit of the game. Let's watch Medlin. I'm sure Medlin will probably take some throws here to stay loose. And on the replay after the first hitter, we haven't seen that, I don't think, all year.
And now the fans have seen a couple of replays, and some are still cheering a great play by Cain, or maybe just a great effort by Cain, but it's pretty clear that that ball hit his glove and then it hit the screen in front of the scoreboard and then back up against his midsection.
Yeah. So Salvi just got Medlin's attention and said, hey, come on now, let's just move past it. If there is a runner at second base, no problem. We have a situation here. Just go ahead and do your thing. Cain, man, just excellent break to the ball. He took a perfect route, and he just couldn't close his glove soon enough. Machado hoping that he gets his 26th double.
Well, it seems like some bad fortune for the Royals that the ball hit the wall, but immediately we're reminded that if we were in Camden Yards in Baltimore, it'd be 1-0 Orioles on a home run to center field. And the Orioles, last year, they led the major leagues in home runs. The Royals shut that down basically in the championship series. And now they come into tonight's game 4th in the American League in home runs. So that's a big part of their game, but the ball does not fly out of here like it does in Baltimore. Machado appeared to be about 2/3 of the way between first and second when Kane went down. And they're going to put Machado at second base. So the call is overturned, and now Buck Showalter is going to come out.
He wants 3 bags. So I thought that probably was part of some of the replay discussion by the umpires, is because, you know, you never really know. That's a long way right center field. If Machado would have kept going to third base, Buck would have had a better case. I think Machado got to second base and thought that he was out and just stopped. Showalter saying my guy would have gotten third.
Now he should be thrown out by now, shouldn't he?
Can be. I think Hirschback is giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I think right there he's out of the game. John Hirschbeck gave him a chance to talk. Rules are rules for everybody. John Hirschbeck gave him a chance to talk. He started to walk away. He stopped. He is deliberately delaying the game now and arguing. I mean, maybe it's different because the call went in his favor, but he's clearly arguing. So I'd be interested. I mean, we've seen much quicker ejections than that for an umpire going out and arguing a decision that was made in New York.
Yeah, he already won the replay, so he's just getting a little greedy.
So after all that, a runner at second base with nobody out, and now Gerardo Parra. That was a 6-minute delay, and now Parra, like Machado, swings at the first pitch. Parra has been one of the hottest hitters in the American League, the major leagues really, because he came from the Brewers to the Orioles in a trade over the past 2 months.
Well, Parra knows the situation here with nobody out, and he wants to get him over, try to pull something. But there's both hitters so far swinging at the first pitches. So very, very aggressive on Medlin. Scott Coolball, their hitting coach, probably had a nice little meeting, and no probably about it. They always have a meeting in the first game of the series, and really every night for each pitcher. And probably said, let's be aggressive on Medlin. He throws strikes. He's got 3 pitches: fastball, curveball, changeup, and he's right around the plate with good command. So let's get him early.
One and two on Parra. A player the Royals were rumored to be interested in before the trading deadline. Not only hitting the ball well now, but for many years has been one of the better defensive outfielders. And he'll get the job done. Infante throws him out. Machado goes to third.
Infante took a peek over there at third base. If Machado wouldn't have gotten a good jump, he might have attempted to throw over there. But sometimes guys on the right side of the infield, when they get a shot hit right at him, there's a play at third, especially with Hosmer. With that arm he's got, they let him go to take the out. That's what's important early in this one. Try to force anything. Ed Yost has his infielders about halfway.
Adam Jones, who has driven in 64.
Ooh.
And I don't think we're going to see that ball ever again. That is home run number 24, and the Orioles with a double, a ground out, and a home run in an early 2-0 lead.
Every one of the first 3 batters of the game swinging early, trying to get Medlin before he can get them. Even the curveball, it spun and it hung. It's almost like he knew it was coming. Sat right on it. It was off the plate and it was down. It didn't trick him.
And that is not an area of the ballpark where you would expect to get a souvenir. Inside to Chris Davis. He has 34 home runs and 89 driven in. It's a second home run allowed by Chris Medlin. Down and in again, 2 balls and no strikes. Chris Davis second in the league in both home runs and RBIs. Second to Josh Donaldson. Kendrys Morales is 4th in that category. 2-2.
Chris Davis is another one of those hitters that loves that ball down. I mean, he has the ability to lift it to all fields, especially in Baltimore in his home ballpark. But it's kind of like J.D. Martinez of the Detroit Tigers, Trout. You know, those guys really have the ability to hit that ball that's down. So we'll see if they choose to try to get him to swing at some high strikes. There's Salvi, high target. That's one of his holes, is up there, up top. Speaking of holes, I think they just ripped one in the backdrop there.
And scared a poor lady to death who's in the first row behind. Look at that. Went through the signage panel there.
Yeah. Well, there's more holes than that one.
She's going to wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares about that foul ball. 2 down as Medlin gets Chris Davis.
That's a beautiful 2-running, 2-seam fastball. I mean, had some good movement. Starts in, it froze the hitter, Davis, and then with that little extra hair on it, it caught the dish. Good pitch.
This is Steve Clevenger, and he's been swinging the bat well lately. He has hit in 7 straight, which is a career high, and batting .395. Playing in just his 13th game for the Orioles this year. And he swung so hard he lost his helmet.
Clevenger's a type of hitter that is a spray hitter. He likes to use both gaps. Good level swing.
Good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nedjos hesitated to say this, but he did follow through, that Chris Medlin had a reputation in Atlanta being a poor man's Greg Maddux with his ability to locate his pitches. And he comes back. He bounces back after the Jones home run and strikes out Davis and Clevenger. Aldo Jimenez with a 12.5 game lead. The Royals had that dramatic win in Baltimore, or Boston yesterday. Baltimore had a deflating loss in extra innings to Minnesota. So Minnesota stays pace, if you want to call it that, at 12.5 back. And here the Royals Lined up tonight against right-hander Ubaldo Jimenez, who's making his 25th start and going for his 10th win of the year.
Ubaldo Jimenez is a guy that really has a lot of moving parts. So he's very deceptive with his windup. Fastball will average around 90. You know, he's got a couple of different quirks. They've seen a lot of him. Split finger, slider, curve, and a changeup. He's one of those guys that has a plethora of pitches.
Scope bobbles and recovers to throw out Escobar. During the ALCS last year, it was supposed to be a battle of the two best defensive teams in the major leagues, the Royals and the Orioles. And the Orioles, while they might not be as dynamic as the Royals defensively, they are very stingy when it comes to errors.
No J.D. Hardy. J.J. Hardy, excuse me. He's got a little groin injury, so he's not out there. Flaherty's getting the job. Scope picked him out again. He's got great hands. Doesn't have the best range, but if it's hit right at him, he makes the play. Good young player. There it is, his pitch selection. Now, he does throw a lot of fastballs, but not overpowering. I mentioned it. He's not a blazing guy in the mid-90s or anything. Split finger's a pitch he likes to go to when runners get in scoring position. It's one of those that starts out at the knee high, ends up in the dirt. Curve and change, tries to keep guys off balance, but early in the game he wants to establish his fastball.
And a fastball strike to Lorenzo Cain. Tough trip. Hit just 192 in Cincinnati and Boston. The pitch ate him up and he fouls it away. 0-2.
Lorenzo Cain in his career a .429 hitter with 1 home run off of Jimenez. Some guys with some pretty good numbers there in the middle of Ned Yost's order.
Going to be a tough play for Machado. No play. And Cain is on with 2 outs.
On contact, when you're a hitter like Cain and have that speed off the plate like that, you know right away when you hit that ball that you got a chance for a base hit. Machado, he's an excellent third baseman on the flashy type plays. He's had some trouble with the routine balls this year, but Lorenzo Cain's too quick. That's the 108th infield hit by the Royals. That's 5th in the American League.
Two home runs and a .346 average for Hosmer against Jimenez. The Royals lineup is a collection of hitters who have done well against Jimenez and many who have done very poorly against Jimenez. Really no gray area, no in between. You mentioned how many moving parts you have to keep track of before you see the ball from his release point.
That's the main thing for the Royals offense. They just want to try to pick up Jimenez's release point, and really it's just about right over the top. Now that's his move. That's his best move. He's got pretty quick feet. But he's slow home, so the Royals, if they choose, they might want to start stealing bases.
And they kept Scope busy with 3 hard hit ground balls. Jimenez gets around the 2-out single. Baltimore leads 2-0. Well, the Royals got past the 98-win Angels in the first round. Certainly, they couldn't get past the 96-win Orioles in the ALCS. That was maybe the most famous play of that series. Mike Moustakas going into the dugout suite. And the Royals, with their historic 8-0 beginning of the postseason, included a 4-game sweep of the Orioles, which ended right here at Kauffman Stadium.
Never gets old watching those reruns, believe that. That was exciting and thrilling. And just folks here are staying tuned for what's yet to come. First things first. They want to continue to play that consistent baseball that they have all year long, and really there has been no letdown with the size of lead they have. These guys are energetic. All they want is a win. They don't care where they are in the standings. And at this level, that's all you look for. That's all that matters is W's. Don't care how they get them. I mean, last night, for example, right on the 9th inning, top of the 9th inning, you're in the opposing ballpark. When you get 2 guys thrown out at home plate, I mean, what are the chances of you winning that game? Just an incredible job by persevering and not giving up and saying, you know what, we can hit. And they just turned it on. 26 hits in the last 2 games. Good breaker.
3 straight strikeouts for Medlin since the Jones home run.
When he locates it and it starts it right above the knees, it finishes off down. That's exactly what pitchers want. Now, sometimes they hang him. Now, I'm not going to say that Jones, who hit his 24th home run in that first inning, was a hanger, but it was up a little.
Our Toyota League leaders for tonight. We'll get back to that after this pitch to Jonathan Schoop. Escobar. Nice play. Hosmer with the stretch, and he had to go too far. And Schoop will be on with an infield single. So, with a minimum of 500 innings and 50 starts, lowest ERA among active pitchers. And Chris Medlin in outstanding company. He is surrounded by Kershaw, Sale, Wainwright, and Bumgarner.
There's that guy again. Bumgarner. Man, I agree. That's great company.
Henry Urrutia takes low. When the Orioles were here last year during the regular season, Urrutia had just been called up. Outfielder from Cuba. That leads Escobar right to the bag. I don't think he could have fielded that ground ball without stepping on second base. So Medlin has a tidy and quick top of the second inning. Choose amongst a variety of unique opportunities, such as taking a photo on the field, a front row pass to watch batting practice, and more. All experiences are available for purchase each game exclusively through the MLB.com Ballpark app. Kendrys Morales goes the other way, came very close to hitting a home run. That ball carried into the left field corner. Valdo Jimenez got 3 ground balls to second base in the first inning, also allowed an infield single to Kane. Morales also had a tough road trip. He was just 2 out of 15. He did drive in a couple of runs. And because of the National League rules, he was on the bench for the 2 games in Cincinnati.
Rarely do you see him overswing. He's a very controlled hitter. Doesn't try to muscle up. You know, not really caring about home runs. He just wants to drive them in. He's got just 13 homers this year, but 85 RBIs. That's getting it done. And giving Hosmer some nice protection.
3-1 with Moustakas on deck.
You know, the more I see teams shifting Morales, it just tells me that, you know, they're taking a chance. And Ubaldo's not overpowering. He's just thinking by that he's going to pull it. But you could tell by the first couple swings and then that walk there, he's not interested in pulling.
And that brings up Mike Moustakas. We remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Mike Moustakas with a 4 RBI game yesterday. Put the Royals in front 3-2 with a double. Then he homered to make it 4-2, and then it was his double in the 9th inning that put the Royals in front 8-6. Ball 1 from Jimenez.
Yeah, Moustakas trusting his hands, standing upright, not concentrating on pulling, at least the last few games, and we witnessed that yesterday. He just wanted to hit it where it's pitched.
That'll help spike his batting average since the All-Star break. You know, he's hitting right around 200 since the All-Star break. He hit 2 home runs in the Boston series. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And, you know, his hitting coach Dale Swain emphasizes to be a run producer, you've got to utilize the opposite field. And as evident with Moose's average of the runner in scoring position, it was down low around 213. Now it's up to 230. It's because of those last 3 games.
Cracked his bat. Still 1-2.
But I was impressed with how he competed each time up. You know, those borderline pitches, he was fouling them off. Some he didn't like. You could tell he abbreviated his swing. And that's what hitters do. You foul off enough, eventually the guy's going to give you something better, and he waited on it. And I mean, that pitch was right down the middle last night, or yesterday afternoon. And he didn't miss it. Some guys can pop those up when you get them, but Moose was locked in. First hit of the year with the bases loaded. That was huge for him and the ball club.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, that game-winning hit was a 10-pitch at-bat, and his home run was a 9-pitch at-bat.
And he went to the opposite field to boot. Second opposite field home run by him this year.
Fastball strikes him out, and that is the first strikeout for Jimenez. 31-year-old Ubaldo Jimenez.
2-seam fastball.
One down to Salvador Perez with Morales at first base. Sal thought that was a little low.
Wow, how about that, young man? He was paying attention yesterday afternoon. Happy birthday.
Sal drove in 3 in the Boston series, also had a home run. A career high for Salvador Perez at 18, and that home run accomplished a couple things. It gave him a new career high, and at the time it gave the Royals 96 home runs, which is one more than they hit all of last year. Now he's down on 3 straight pitches, back-to-back strikeouts for Jimenez, and both with the fastball.
Yep. Coming out first time through using that fastball. That's what he likes to do. I think maybe in the back of the Royals hitters' minds, they've been seeing a lot of off speed because they're so good at attacking fastballs. Yet they're thinking a little bit maybe about the breaking ball. That's the reason why they're not catching that.
Alex Rios, if you go by batting average, was the most productive Royal on the road trip. He had 348, which included 7 hits in the Boston series. Highest batting average for the Royals during the trip.
It's good to see.
Now the inevitable is coming. Alex Gordon homered yesterday in his first rehab game with Omaha. He will be here eventually. And then I'm sure Alex Rios and Omar Infante both wonder, where will Ben Zobrist go when Alex gets back? So maybe it's an uneasy feeling for those 2 guys, but it'll result in some competition, and maybe we'll see the best of Rios and Infante. That's what the Royals hope in the next few weeks.
It's a great point. Internal competition is the best form of competition to ignite a player.
2-2.
Players know who's coming in the minors, who's the young hotshots. They all know all that stuff because this is a competitive business. So they're very aware, and I think that's good. Rios has done such a good job here the last week or so because he's going to the opposite field. He's really waiting longer. He's not pulling off the ball, and then he'll react in naturally.
Another base hit.
So that's his groove right now. He's getting hits up the middle and to right field.
Speaking of Alex Gordon, here is a Mazda game break, and let's hear the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Mark Nasser, describing Alex Gordon yesterday.
Stays put. Payoff pitch. Gordon swings, launches one in the air to right field and deep. Parker going back, no doubt about it. That ball is gone. Home run, Alex Gordon.
Nick Polberg there. Way to go, Poley.
Now a slider for a strike to Omar Infante. You know, Rios, personally, you'd figure he has a lot more to lose if it comes down to Rios and Infante. Infante's been to 2 World Series. He has 2 more years on his contract. Rios has never been to the postseason. And you know, when the Royals are in October, he wants to be a part of that. That's why he signed with the Royals. Royals strand 2 in the 2nd inning. The Orioles lead 2-0.
Flaherty set to step in to lead off the third inning. He is the shortstop tonight, and that is because J.J. Hardy, as we see in our University of Kansas Hospital injury report, placed on the DL for the second time this year. He heads on the DL with a groin strain. As for Chris Medlin, his first start since recovering from Tommy John, and that one hammered foul. And talking to a couple of the guys in the clubhouse that have been through Tommy John surgery, Danny Duffy and Luke Hochaver, they've been through one, not two. Danny said he could absolutely not imagine going through it a second time. It was so hard the first time, but gave credit not just to Chris, but to his supportive family. And in Luke Hochaver's case, said the same thing. I can't imagine going through it twice. He said, but this says so much about Chris and how competitive he is, the guts that he has. He called him a bulldog. He said going through it was absolutely awful, but no surprise that Chris was able to get through it, and he expected that tonight would just be business as usual for Medlin.
And guys, Ned Yost has said on more than one occasion that his mentor, Bobby Cox, who managed Chris Medlin in Atlanta, that Chris Medlin was one of his favorites. And you think about all the great pitchers and players that Bobby Cox managed as the Braves were winning 14 consecutive division titles, and that is, I'm sure, not a distinction that Bobby Cox just throws around.
Quite the compliment. Liking the life on Medlin's two-seam fastball. That looks good. He's able to backdoor that first pitch to the righty, and then he's also got one on the inside part of the plate to Freeze Davis.
2-1 on Machado, who swung at the first pitch of the game, and for a moment he was out on a very good play by Lorenzo Cain in right center field, but after an Orioles challenge, the call was overturned when the ball actually bounced or ricocheted off the wall before Cain came down with it. Machado scored on an Adam Jones 2-run home run. Broken bat, good pitch. Easy play for Escobar, 2 down. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag KCDataStrongFan. There's one right there.
Nice ground. Yes, sir. Glad you're here.
Gerardo Parra shortening up the bunt. Moustakas was already in at third. Grounded out to Infante in the first inning. Chris Medlin is making his first start against the Orioles. He has a couple of relief appearances, and you go up and down the Orioles lineup, and there are very few hitters who have any experience against Medlin. Now Parra, he's a National League player. He was with the Diamondbacks for many years and then the Brewers. So he has the most experience against Medlin, and that was only 3 at-bats. Still 1-2.
Medlin with a very controlled delivery and free and easy arm action. Very smooth. Confident. You know, you talk about mound presence. You know, it's the confidence that comes out of that. And it helps when you have a good quick rhythm, good tempo.
.37 pitches. He is going to be restricted to somewhere between 60 and 70 pitches tonight. Ned Yost said Chris Medlin be about 15 pitches, add about 15 pitches to his pitch count every start, so it'll take him about 3 to get to 90 to 100 pitches. Good breaking ball down. Medlin has struck out 4. And the Orioles only have an infield single since the Jones home run in the first inning.
That is a yellow hammer. 12-6 on the clock. Got to go.
Center. You can find him serving meals in the daily soup kitchen, adopting families at Christmas, or raising money to make sure the elderly have air conditioning in the summer. The Bishop Sullivan Center provides services to those who need it, including a food pantry, household assistance, unemployment program, and services to the elderly. As Escobar jumps on the first pitch and grounds out to Machado. So Dan Reardon sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game. And if the Bishop Sullivan Center sounds familiar, remember Billy Butler's Hit It a Ton program, which resulted in Billy's barbecue sauce. That was Billy and Katie Butler's efforts to support the Bishop Sullivan Center. Every out so far for Ubaldo Jimenez has been either a strikeout or a ground ball. Ball one to Ben Zobrist. One and one. Zobrist grounded to second base in the first inning.
You check out Jimenez's delivery. He's got a couple of pauses. One at the top and then one at the bottom when he takes his glove out. Right there, and then kind of holds it down. A little bit deceptive there. Every pitcher that the Royals see has a different windup. Just like hitters have different stances. But the key for every hitter is to try to pick up that release point as quick as you can. And for the Royals, he's been given a lot of fastballs in there early in this one. Guess what a hitter's looking. He takes his eye off the target, flings that arm way out behind his back. Sometimes you might think it would be hard for this young man here to repeat his delivery, but he's been around a long time. He's a pro.
Right back at Jimenez. So he saw a white flash and had to decide if it was a baseball or the end.
Well, that's what you call chuck and duck, that's for sure. And for Zobrist, just waiting till the ball gets to him, and on contact, I mean, just short and quick, right back where it came from.
He thought it was the end.
Yeah,
it
laid him out.
Yep.
Fortunately, he didn't catch it with his glove or catch it with his body.
Now Lorenzo Cain drops it into right field. That'll get Zobrist to third. Cain is 2 for 2.
You can't get this hit unless you're thinking right field, especially where it was located. That ball's up and in, and Lorenzo Cain, he says, I'm going to go first to third here. Let's just try to put that ball in play. He did. Kept his bat intact, by the way. And got another opportunity here.
Surprisingly, Lorenzo Cain has done almost nothing against Baltimore in the regular season, but this is what he did in the postseason, and when it was all said and done, he was the ALCS MVP. First and third, one out to Hosmer. So if you include the ALCS and Lorenzo Cain tonight, he's now hitting .588 in his last 5 games against Baltimore. Hosmer grounded out first time. That's what Jimenez wants right now with runners at first and third.
Yep, Hos wants to get one elevated. He's great at going to the opposite field. They're going to try to jam him, keep him from getting his arms out.
Davis dives. He plays it to second base, so no double play. A run scores. Hosmer drives in his 75th, and Zobrist comes home to make it 2-1.
Now this is what the opposition has been trying to do to Hosmer, and that's pitch him inside and jam him, keep him from getting his arms out. But look, hit it in the right spot. You're able to get on the board.
Hey, good to see Rusty Kuntz. Only Josh Donaldson has more RBIs in the American League this month. Eric Hosmer continues his trend of being a better second half hitter. Morales walked leading off the second inning, got to second base and was stranded there.
Base stealers have been successful 18 out of 21 attempts on Jimenez. Talked about how slow he is getting the ball home from the stretch. That's a high rate of success when you try to attempt to steal on this guy. Hosmer has 5 steals. But with 2 outs and your premium RBI guy up, probably won't go here. Because with Morales, a runner at first base is a runner in scoring position.
Three and one. Over the mound, and that's the shortstop Flaherty, who is on the right side of second base, and he goes to the bag to force out Hosmer. So the Royals are hoping for more, but they're on the board, and it's now a 2-1 game at the end of 3. Fest. Get your tickets today for Irish Heritage Night here at Kauffman Stadium. That's next Wednesday, and starting at just $20. This special ticket package gets you both a game ticket to watch the Royals and the Tigers and a single-day admission to the Kansas City Irish Fest the following weekend. You can get those tickets right now at royals.com/special events.
Well, don't give this guy a cookie, that's for sure. And it wasn't exactly a hanging curve in the first time up that Adam Jones hit, but it stayed up and it was on the inner half, and he obviously was looking for it. And the ball, it was down. A hanger is a big one, big cookie right in the middle of the plate. Obviously, to square a ball up like that, you had to be looking off speed first pitch.
Had a better swing there than he did on the first pitch against Medlin here. And he went to the breaking ball again, and Jones was on it again. So I think the approach will be a little different next time Jones comes up.
Okay, well, this is what you call a hanger. And this one stayed out over the middle of the plate. Obviously a mistake. That's called a hanging breaking ball. The one he hit out of the park was not, but this one was, and fortunate that he kept him in the park there.
Chris Davis struck out looking at a fastball in the first inning.
Medlin has a great move. Quick feet, very accurate with his throws. Adam Jones, he's not going anywhere. He's got 3 steals in all this year. He's not getting a very big lead, as I know that they all know that Medlin's got a good move.
Two and two. Last time the Royals faced the Orioles was the ALCS, and remember, Chris Davis was suspended the final 25 games of the regular season for violating MLB's PED policy. Medlin strikes him out again. That's 5 for Medlin. One down in the 4th inning. Orioles were without Manny Machado, who had knee surgery, and Matt Wieters, who had Tommy John surgery.
Talk about how they rallied together as a team, kind of like what the Cardinals are doing with all their injuries.
Four swinging, 1 looking among the 5 strikeouts for Medlin. He also struck out Clevenger first time up, and Clevenger hits it to left center field, and that's not where the Royals were playing. Jones is going to be waved home. Escobar's got it. Play at the plate, not in time. The Royals will get an out as Clevenger is tagged out. He just ran into an out there. So Jones scores from first on the double by Clevenger, and Baltimore leads 3-1.
Lorenzo Cain was playing him to pull over there in right center, but this is a good inside out swing. We talked about the ability of Clevenger to go gap to gap. Escobar's throw was not going to be in time, a little bit up the line there, and Salvi just took his time and got the easy out.
So it scored 8-6-2-5 to get Clevenger. You know, I've never bought a base runner just running into an out because they are so-called distracting the defense, and they'll take the out on the bases instead of going for the plate. I don't think that was a good play right there. The Orioles should have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs.
I agree.
Clevenger just rounded second and just kind of hung out in between second and third base.
Totally agree with that. There's nowhere to go.
So now there's 2 down and nobody on. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Wieters. You know, see that play happen a lot, Hud, on base hits to right field. Guy gets a single, he rounds first, he just runs into an out.
You know, he hesitated. He stopped right there for a second and then ran into the out. And you can tell by the way Salvi caught the ball. He just caught it and said, "Oh, okay, we'll take it."
Orioles get another run and they lead 3-1.
Look at Mike Moustakas. The Moose is loose again. 2-strike home run that breaks the tie.
Five postseason home runs for Mike Moustakas last year, a new Royals record. 2 against the Angels, 2 against the Orioles, and 1 in the World Series. Hard slider, called a strike. Jimenez struck out Moustakas in the 2nd inning. Royals just got a run in the bottom of the 3rd, and the Orioles got that run back in the top of the 4th. 1-1. Eric Hosmer drove in a run, grounding into a force out in the 3rd inning, scoring Ben Zobrist for the Royals run. And now 2 balls, 1 strike.
First time through, we've seen Jimenez really establish that fastball. Now, if you see what hitters do the 2nd and 3rd times through, they usually kind of warm up to him.
There's a bunt. And Machado makes a very good play. Man, how about that arm throwing off the wrong foot?
It's a great idea by Moose. I mean, just go ahead and lay it down. You didn't have to, try to sneak attack it and hide it. But at that angle, that's really tough. You got to have a tremendous throwing arm to be able to throw that ball way up the line to be accurate with that throw.
Breaking ball strike to Salvador Perez, also a strikeout victim of Jimenez in the 2nd inning. Oh, 0-2. Salvi asking John Hirschbeck if that pitch was up, as in up and out of the strike zone. Jimenez needed only 3 pitches to get Salvi in the 2nd inning. And 3 pitches to get him in the 4th. And there's a 3rd strikeout for Ubaldo Jimenez. Students come out to Kauffman Stadium in 2 nights. It's another student night and local music showcase presented by Inc. magazine. You can mingle with friends and enjoy food and drink specials exclusively for students in the outfield experience, and listen to live music from local Kansas City bands. This Wednesday, music from the Fanatics. And get those $8 tickets here at the box office or at Royals.com/student night. Alex Rios singled his first time up. Backhanded by Machado. Shows off his arm again. That is the inning. Jimenez's first 1-2-3 inning. 4 in the books. Baltimore leads 3-1. Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Chrysler. Enjoy your summer in style with great deals at the Chrysler Summer Clearance event. Thoughts?
Beautiful.
It is indeed.
Great evening. I mean, last night both teams got to Kansas City about the same time, and I know the Orioles felt the same way the Royals did when they got off of that airplane and felt the cool air and went, wow, are you sure we're here in Kansas City? Mm-hmm. It felt so good. What an evening to play ball.
Scope gets jammed and hits it out to Rios. Scope is 1 for 2 tonight. 1 down in the 5th inning. By the way, for student night the day after tomorrow, the Fantastics are performing, not the Fanatics.
Oh,
the Fanatics, I think they broke up.
Okay,
so it's the Fantastics.
We'll be listening. No pressure.
But if the Fanatics have a comeback tour, we hope that they'll play here at Kauffman Stadium. 1-0 on Henry Urrutia, playing in left field. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning. Moustakas, diving play, throws, got him. That's his best play of the year.
Oh my, what a beauty. Urrutia likes to go to the opposite field, and he tried to sneak one by Moose there, and you can't do it. Full extension, gets his feet under him, and I mean, that's a blue darter across the diamond. Straight as a string and a lot on it. That'll lift the spirits of Medlin and the entire team. Not to mention the ballpark.
Well, it didn't require him going into the dugout suite, but the Orioles, I'm sure, feel like they've seen that before. (2-0) on Ryan Flaherty, who is playing at shortstop with J.J. Hardy on the disabled list. Flaherty popped out to Moustakas in the 3rd inning. Moustakas out and makes the play. In the 5th inning, it was Mike Moustakas' world, and Chris Medlin was just living in it. This was the ALCS last year against the Orioles.
Coach in the league is back after missing 8 games. Rusty Kuntz, without coming with some grief though, he was standing there during batting practice today, and a coach walked by and said, "How was Hawaii, Rusty?" He only wishes it could have been a trip to the beach. Rusty, missing the 8 games, had that sinus infection, and then as he's trying to get over that, he gets the stomach virus. Had multiple days while the team was home last homestand, guys, of IVs. Got dressed to go to the airport, wasn't feeling great, went to the doctor, got more IVs, and that's when they said, you might want to end up staying home, as we're going to see Infante fly out there. So he had not missed games since 1990 when he missed 3 with the flu, but 8 games. Finally got a chance to get out a couple days ago, guys, and he got some grief from his coaches on this too. Told him that he went to Bed Bath & Beyond. Said to his wife, Sally, I just have to get out and walk around. She said, well, then let's go into Bed Bath & Beyond. He's walking around, pushing the cart slowly. And he says, what are we doing here? What are we getting? She says, I need a potato peeler. So he got out, he got the potato peeler. Needless to say, he is happy to be upright, as he said, on the field. And he said, hoping to go more than 5.
Way to go, Joe.
And Sally has a new potato peeler. Machado will throw out Escobar for a 3rd time. Esky is 0 for 3. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. And now Ben Zobrist with 2 down. We remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. And you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Oh. Well, she's gotten most of the cotton candy in her mouth, not all of it. Zobrist, with one out in the third inning, singled, almost took off Jimenez's cap in doing so. And then he scored the Royals run on Hosmer's ground out. 3 Orioles in pursuit, and it's Flaherty, the shortstop, bringing it down. So Jimenez, who's really struggled since the All-Star break, has held the Royals to 1 run in the first 5 innings. By Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. 3-1 Baltimore as Chris Medlin pitches into the 6th inning. And coming up on 60 pitches. And his limit somewhere between 60 and 70. And they're working now in the Royals bullpen. He has allowed a 2-run home run. That was to Jones in the first inning, and an RBI double to Clevenger in the 4th.
See Dave Island right there with his pitch count clicker in his hand. You see a pitching coach nowadays in this modern era, they never go anywhere without that counter. Thank you.
The Orioles have 5 hits. 4 have been on the first pitch, so they continue to swing early in the count against Medlin. And Machado, who flies out here, he swung at the first pitch of the game and doubled and eventually scored. There's Luke Hochevar, Franklin Morales. Hochevar throwing, Morales stretching out as Medlin's at 59 pitches. Here's Gerardo Parra, 0 for 2. No balls, 2 strikes. We've mentioned this before, but even though you think of Chris Medlin as a starter, he actually has a lot more experience as a major leaguer pitching out of the bullpen. And over a stretch of games from 2010 into 2012, Chris Medlin had 23 consecutive starts for the Braves, which they won. It's a major league record. Ooh, look at John Hirschbeck. Right hand or right wrist. John Hirschbeck in his 33rd year as a major league umpire, and has always been one of the more popular umpires.
Medlin losing a little bit of command with that curve. He's missed a couple times with it here, and Salvi even missed it. Got up underneath it.
So did the ball get him on his right hand, or did he land on his right hand? That's what he was flexing, that right hand. Both Salvador Perez and Gerardo Parra checking to make sure John Hirschbeck's all right. Two and two. Pitch number 64 coming up for Medlin. One down in the 6th inning. Out to first base coach Wayne Kirby. So how about that for being a good luck charm for the Braves? 23 consecutive starts where the Braves won. Now Medlin didn't win all those, but the Braves won 23 straight Chris Medlin starts. Well hit to center. Ball carries, and Kane makes a play as he runs onto the track. Parra is 0 for 3, 2 down.
You know, that happens whenever you have a starter like Medlin in those days you were talking about. Whenever they're winning games, players come to the ballpark knowing who's starting, and they're saying to themselves, all right, we're going to win. Medlin's pitching. That's a really good trait to have as a starting pitcher.
Adam Jones has scored 2 of the 3 runs. He had a 2-run home run in the 1st inning and then singled in the 4th. Both hits coming on curveballs. This time he gets 2 fastballs, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, better leave that curveball alone unless you can bury it. They made sure to do it that time. Now, most likely this will be Medlin's last inning, but hard to complain what you've seen. It's so quick. He has such a great rhythm and tempo and confidence and mound presence, and not to mention his 3 good pitches that he only made a few mistakes.
Moustakas backhands, long throw. Well, that is definitely something to build on. Chris Medlin goes 6. Now the offense will try and pick him up. Kane, Hosmer, and Morales are coming up in the bottom of the 6th. drive of the game was yesterday. Mike Moustakas hitting it into the monster seats in left field at Fenway Park. And that also came in our Sonic Slam inning. Lorenzo Cain leads off. And our contestant tonight is Kim Smith from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Kim wins $100. Machado with his bare hand guns it over to first base, and Cain is out for the first time. He singled his first 2 times up. Boy, he is impressive at third base. This has been a third base clinic tonight.
Ooh, man, he's showing his skills. There's no doubt about it. He's got excellent range, and he's got a tremendous throwing stroke. He chooses to barehand it there, lines his feet up, and he can throw over the top, and also he throws a lot of pitches underarm too, or under from the side down under. He's extremely talented.
Hosmer is 0 for 2. He does have an RBI. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, then Kim Smith wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. 2012, the Royals were in Baltimore, and Manny Machado made his big league debut, and the Orioles were waiting on him. He was their #1 prospect. He had 5 games of minor league experience at third base. He's a natural shortstop, drafted as a shortstop. The Orioles had J.J. Hardy. He played 5 games at third in the minor leagues, and then they called him up to play third base, and the next year he won a Gold Glove at that position.
No doubt. Weren't we there when that happened?
Yeah, got his first hit, first major league home run in that series with the Royals. May have gotten his first 2 major league home runs. I think it was a 2 home run game. Hosmer goes the other way. Urrutia picks it off deep. Hosmer's digging for 2. He is in there.
'26 double, and he earned it. Every bit of that. Great decision at first base to make to go ahead and continue. You want to make the outfielder stop you, and if that outfielder's still running and catching that ball, now Haas is able to go with this pitch like he's done so well here in the second half of the season. But Urrutia was still moving, and Haas says, I can beat him. Just barely got him. Got in there.
Kendrys Morales with his 85 RBIs. That curveball hangs high. Ball 1.
Okay, this is today. This is the last swing here. As that ball was on the outer half, Hosmer took the same swing. He swings when he pulls it, but he waited and went the other way. Very nice. Not quite as nice as yesterday's hit, though. That hit yesterday was a foot outside, and he just shortened his swing up and did what they needed to do.
That was a little more Ichiro yesterday.
It was. And that ball was half a foot outside, and he laced it by Sandoval.
I remember that from his rookie year. That was something he showed right away, that when he had 2 strikes, pitches away. I mean, he's been doing this since he first got to the big leagues.
Look at how long his arms are. That's how he's so good at that. He's able to reach those pitches outside.
Grounded out to Scope, who's been busy tonight. Another ground ball out for Jimenez. 2 down, and Hosmer goes to third.
Let's show Hosmer again today. In tonight's game, that ball's off the plate and it's a ball, but he's able to hustle it into a double, and this one was a money hit. That was beautiful. Just keeping the line moving. All those hits in that top of the 9th were to the opposite field by the batters. It was really a tremendous hitting clinic that they put on that half inning.
Moustakas tried to bunt his way on in the 4th inning. Machado threw him out with a good play, and then Jimenez struck him out in the 2nd inning. Hit well to right field. This game is tied.
You could hear the crowd when Moose wasn't even announced, starting their Moose chants. When you're hot, you're hot.
It's the 4th straight game the Royals have hit a home run in the 6th inning. And the 2nd straight day that Mike Moustakas has been giving away money with a home run. That puts Moustakas over 50 RBIs this year. That is his 4th straight big hit over the last 2 games. Yesterday in a 2-2 tie, Moustakas doubled to put the Royals in front 3-2. Then he homered to make it 4-2. And then in the 9th inning, in a 6-6 tie, his double put the Royals in front. And now a home run here in the 6th inning takes Chris Medlin off the hook and ties the game at 3.
Talk about picking up your starting pitcher, who did a nice job early in this game. There it is right there, the hug. Thank you, guys. Now Jimenez is trying to make Salvi swing out of the zone. Very difficult to walk Salvador Perez. He has 8 walks total all season long.
And that ball's crushed, but Salvi was out in front. Medlin's just been a tough pitcher tonight to elevate. Only 2 outs in the air, 12 ground outs, and Moustakas, I mean, it wasn't even a fly ball. That was just a line drive that sailed over the right field wall. Up the middle, cut off by Flaherty. He throws it away, and Sal is on with 2 down.
'109th infield hit by a Royal this year, and what they like to do is just keep the line moving. They're excellent with 2 outs. Nice try by Flaherty, but can't get Salvi. It's just Salvi's 2nd infield hit of the season. No wonder he's got such a big smile on his face.
Gets another hit. How far will Salvi go? Mike Jersley puts up the stop sign. Alex Rios has 2 more hits tonight, and the Royals have 4 hits in the 6th inning against Jimenez after getting 4 hits in the first 5 innings against Jimenez.
Has an off-speed pitch. Staying out over the middle of the plate. Rios continues to stay hot. And Jershely chooses to hold up Salvi. And after getting a couple guys thrown out in yesterday's game, I think Jershely's saying, hey, look, let's just hold on here and see if Infante can get a big hit. Didn't want to risk getting Salvi thrown out.
Dave Wallace is the Orioles pitching coach. Royals had 1 run, 4 hits in the first 5 innings. Now they have 2 runs, 4 hits in this inning. And now they're working in the Orioles bullpen. This is the part of the game where Jimenez is most vulnerable. Once he gets over 75, 80 pitches, his opponent's batting average spikes up to .333. That's Brad Brock warming up for the Orioles. He's still got good movement on his fastball. No balls and 2 strikes on Infante.
Outfielder's extremely shallow. not respecting any extra base hitting ability by Infante. 0-2.
And with the outfield shallow, it's a long run for Jones, and Infante burns the Orioles. And now he's digging for 3. To his feet. And the Royals have scored 5 in the 6th inning. You just can't make this stuff up.
No, and it's beautiful. Infante being disrespected by the Orioles outfield. Playing him in Little League depth. Says, oh yeah? I don't care if I got 2 strikes on me. I'm going to muscle up. And I'm going to show you what I can do. Mike Jerschley not forcing Salvi at home paid off. As he hits it way over the Orioles outfielders there. 2 more runs score. And now Chris Medlin is in line for a W. If they can hold it.
9 will come to the plate as Escobar singles to right field. And before Ben Zobrist can get the donut off of his bat, Buck Showalter is out of the third base dugout. As Ubaldo Jimenez is probably still trying to figure out what in the world happened to him in the 6th inning.
Yeah, like a lot of teams do after the Royals are done with their frenzy style hitting.
This is Brad Brock coming on for the Orioles. Rios and Infante has really paid off in this inning, but it all started with a 2-run home run from Mike Moustakas that tied the game at 3. And then Omar Infante, with the Orioles playing as though a pitcher was hitting, hits it to the track in center field. The Orioles throw it off the dugout netting. Infante scores, and the Royals have 5 2-out runs in the 6th inning.
So in case you were outside bringing your garbage cans in and you missed it, wow, you can watch the replay later tonight. But that was exciting so far, and we're not done. Infante told me before the game, when I asked him about, did you run out of gas last night coming around third base, he says, I had no gasolina, nothing left. And he had plenty here as he pops that ball to the warning track in left center field, which is a good bolt. And he's able to get a triple, and then the overthrow is allowed to come home and score. A lot like last night, except he scored this time. He told me he was out of gas And last night slided by the time he got to home, and that muddy dirt really he's stuck in the mud basically. But
now Zobrist hits it hard, and that's a base hit. Escobar goes to third, Zobrist goes to second. And the Orioles have seen this before.
Zobrist staying to the opposite field. Ball right down the middle. Didn't try to do too much. We've seen the last several games Royals hitters adjusting to Dale Swaim's philosophy, and that is, fellas, look, if we're going to drive in runs and be productive, we've got to use the opposite field. That's the 14th time now this season the Royals offense have batted around.
And now Kane, and believe it or not, Kane started all of this by grounding out. Machado made a very good play on Kane on a ground ball, so Lorenzo doesn't want to make the first and last out in the same inning, although he's thrilled for his teammates as they have scored 5. And now 0-2 against Brad Brock.
Brock's got a good heater. 90 to 95, two-seam sinking fastball, slider, and a split finger.
Center field, and the Royals will get 2 more. Seven runs with 2 outs. When this inning began, the Royals were down by 2, and now they lead by 5.
Incredible 2-out hitting. It's an onslaught. And these guys, when they start feeding off each other, it just doesn't stop. They're hard to contain. With 2 outs, they're one of the best in the business. Breaking the opponent's back, thinking all we got to get is a pop-up. And the pop-ups are turning into extra base hits. They love Locane. And how about that guy, Chris Medlin? He's
look at that run support.
Unbelievable.
And Hosmer puts down a bunt. And the Orioles throw him out. 11 Royals come to the plate. Chris Medlin sits back and enjoys 7 coming around the score. Moustakas tied it at 3. And then the Royals would go on to score 5 more. is brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit yourmidwestforddealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. What a turnaround. The Royals in the first 5 innings tonight had 1 run, 4 hits. In the 6th inning, the Royals had 7 runs, 8 hits. And now Franklin Morales comes on, pitching with a 5-run lead as the Orioles come up in the 7th inning. Chris Medlin retired the last 7 Orioles hitters. And Morales will get the middle of the order. Davis, Clevenger, and Wieters.
Medlin, a good luck starter tonight. First start in a couple of years. He couldn't have asked for anything better.
Medlin struck out Davis twice, and now he gets Morales and fouls it off of his foot. It's the second time this year the Royals have scored 7 runs in 1 inning, which ties a season high. And all 7 runs scored with 2 outs.
How about Infante being disrespected by their outfield? You know, and you as a hitter, you can see where they're playing. You take a look out there, and he got a pitch up, and he had 2 strikes on him. And Jimenez, he said, "Well, I'll give him to pop it up here." Infante said, "You know what? I need some good exercise tonight again. I'm going around the bases." Clutch hit. He's seen it all before.
Escobar out into shallow left field. And Chris Davis is 0 for 3.
Well, Medlin was probably thinking, how about a crooked number? Ooh, man. A crooked number indeed. A 7 spot.
The Orioles have already lost 4 in a row. 1 loss away from tying a season high of 5 straight losses and falling back to 500. They were just swept at home by Minnesota. Minnesota ran the table against the Orioles this year and went 7-0. Baltimore entered tonight 2 games back in the wild card, but they have 3 teams to pass. Still a lot of games to be played. Infante takes care of Clevenger. He's 1 for 3. 2 down in the 7th inning. Follow live Royals baseball with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. It allows you to stay connected to the Royals wherever you are with the MLB.TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. The #1 app for live baseball at bat. Matt Wieters takes a slider for a strike. Wieters struck out twice against Medlin. Medlin struck out 6 in his 6 innings.
Very impressive first outing for Medlin. And it looks even better now with that nice lead. How good has Morales been? Dave Island's pretty pleased with his left-hander that was a starter last year for the Colorado Rockies. Just another addition to Ned Yost's roster that's really made a difference in that bullpen. How many times has he bridged the gap going to those power arms in the back? And he's not exactly a soft tosser anyway. He's got 90 to 94 with his fastball. Excellent slider. And there's a curve too he mixes in.
He is making his 53rd appearance, which is the third most. That sounds low for me. It doesn't seem like he's warming up every game.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, he's ready every game. He does the same routine every single night out there in the bullpen.
Escobar runs to the middle, throws out Wieters. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals lead the Orioles 8-3.
Stadium, and Panera takes us around the league. Chris Bryant walk-off home run to knock off Cleveland. Houston loses to New York. Detroit being doubled up by Cincinnati, and Boston 5-1 right now over the White Sox. Our Mazda game break takes us to Yankee Stadium. Houston had 4 walk-off wins in the last 8 days, but tonight they are walked off in this one. Carlos Beltran providing the heroics on a sacrifice fly, and the Yankees beat the Astros 1-0 here at Kauffman Stadium. The big 6th inning is what we will be talking about on Boulevard Royals Live, plus Chris Medlin's first start in nearly 2 years, reaction from Ned Yost, and much more coming up after the game with Jeff Montgomery on Boulevard Royals Live.
Thank you, Joel. Tomorrow, Danny Duffy against Miguel Gonzalez. So lefty against righty, same time tomorrow night. So a tie atop the American League East with the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Those are the next 2 closest teams to the Royals when it comes to the best record in the American League. Toronto is not playing tonight. This is Jorge Rondon, just called up by the Orioles. It's a ground ball from Kendrys Morales. Flaherty, the shortstop, over on the right side of second base, will throw out Morales. Kendrys 0 for 3 with a walk. And you can hear the Moose calls even before his name is announced. Mike Moustakas, our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
Yeah, he's not only doing it with the bat, he's doing it with a glove. And how about that arm? Machado, we're seeing the third baseman for the Orioles, got a good arm, but Moose certainly not taking second place in that department. Showing a great arm, and the ability to use those hands as a hitter has really made the difference. Talking with Dale Swaim in Boston after the Royals got spanked the first 2 games of the series. Talking about Moustakas, he'd been struggling, and he said We're trying to get Moose back to not thinking about mechanics. We want him to just use his hands. He's got a great set of hands. Let him just stand up there, be relaxed, and don't think and just react. And man, it was like Moose listened, and it just happened. Taking that advice and going with it. That's called being coachable.
And teams are starting to do this again against Mike Moustakas. And he's trying to do that again, hit the ball to the opposite field, which he did a great job of in the first half. And been pulling the ball more in the second half, so teams have gone from this shift to more evenly spread out, and now they're starting to shift again over to the right.
You know, since Moose was dropped down to the 6th hole, he changed. He went back to his last year trying to pull a lot of balls.
It's it into the shift, and Scope throws him out. 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. Did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Now with the StubHub app, you can select your teams and artists, discover new favorites, and grab tickets wherever you want. Get to your app store today and get the StubHub app. Start at StubHub and let the fun find you. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Royals. 2 down to Salvador Perez. He was involved in the Royals' 7-run 6th inning. Rondon has a very quick bottom of the 7th inning, needing just 7 pitches to take care of the Royals. At the end of 7, the Royals lead 8-3. Turned a 3-1 deficit into an 8-3 lead. Franklin Morales is getting ready for his 2nd inning. Let's bring in Jeff Montgomery. And Monty, let's take a look at the sprint cuts of the game against Chris Medlin.
Yeah, he got greeted very rudely by these Orioles, but he bared down. I like the way he really bowled his next, stayed in there, still in that game, going through 6 innings, and really settled down. I like the stuff. I thought it was interesting. He was very good. 4 of the 5 hits he gave up were against right-handed batters, and it's kind of unusual for a right-handed pitcher, but his splits are reversed. So that's one thing about Chris Medlin. He's very effective against the lefties.
Oh, Monty, but you know what? Just his presence. He's got the bulldog mentality. We know that, but his tempo, he made that look so easy, effortless.
Well, I think if the Royals didn't slow that game down in the 6th inning with those 7 runs, we might be out of here by now.
He just had a great tempo and executed his. I love the depth on his curveball.
Yeah, his stuff was very quality. Again, that the home run that Adam Jones hit wasn't a terrible pitch, but it was kind of in that hot zone for Jones, and then he deposits a 2-run shot. He really got a nice swing on that pitch. But other than that, I thought he was very effective in missing bats, disrupting timing.
1-2 from Morales to Jonathan Scope, who is 1 for 2 with an infield single. The Orioles are without a hit since the 4th inning. And that was when Clevenger doubled in Jones to give the Orioles a 3-1 lead. Medlin and Morales have combined to set down the last 10 Orioles hitters.
Sir, they are well on their way. Just hold tight. Wow, 97.
Hosmer runs it down. Didn't have a lot of time to get to it. Wasn't very high. 1 out in the 8th. This is Steve Pearce, who's going to bat for Urrutia. Pearce just came off the disabled list today. Urrutia was 0 for 2. So in a 5-run game with 1 out in the 8th inning, Buck Showalter wants to get Pearson at bat. Back to Morales. Long underhand toss. It's like a game of horseshoes. 2 down.
He might have been practicing for a little cornhole out there in the parking lot with that little lob toss, trying to get the beanbag there. He threw a changeup.
As we promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KC Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Lisa getting a picture with KC and the KCW. Ryan Flaherty is 0 for 2. He has popped out to Moustakas twice. And now he grounds to Escobar. Backhands, throws, got in. Franklin Morales has chipped in with 2 scoreless innings. And now Royals pitchers have retired the last 13 Orioles. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And I'll tell you what, these Royals, they're like a shark. A shark senses blood in the area anywhere. He goes after it. The Royals, they get runners on, especially with 2 outs. They just score them runs, and they love Lorenzo Cain. Why not? Shorten it up. Lorenzo Cain, 3rd hit on the night.
Royals just add to their already impressive numbers with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Pierce makes a play in left field. Rios put a good swing on it, but got it down around the end of the bat. Rondon has taken care of all 4 Royals hitters he has faced. And here comes Omar Infante. Two-run triple, and then scored on a wild throw by the second baseman Scope, trying to throw out Infante at third base. That gave the Royals a 6-3 lead, and then Lorenzo Cain's single put the Royals in front 8-3. All 7 runs in that 6th inning were scored with 2 outs.
Okay, a little more respect in the outfield now for Infante this time up. Parra in right, he's still in shallow. Most right fielders play shallow on Infante, but Jones and Pierce in left field are a lot deeper than they were when Infante hit it over their head for a big hit in the 6th inning.
And the shallow man gets burned again. Two triples for Omar Infante, taking advantage of a shallow Baltimore outfield.
Okay, the center fielder and left fielder got the memo and got the message from Infante last time up. Now this time, Parra gets it. I'll teach you guys for playing me shallow. Omar Infante putting on a triples clinic.
First time that Infante has had 2 triples in one game. It is the 2nd time this year a Royal has had 2 triples in one game. Does that ring a bell?
How about that guy there? Paulo Orlando.
That was back on April 12th at the Angels. Oh, 2 on Escobar, 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored in that 7-run 6th inning. Asking John Hirschbeck if he swung at a strike.
Infante now takes over the team lead in triples. 7.
Down on strikes. First strikeout for Rondon. And now 2 outs in the 8th inning. DraftKings with the players to watch. Eric Hosmer was on that list. He is chipped in with a double, a run scored, and an RBI. Go to DraftKings.com. Enter the promo code BRoyal to play daily fantasy baseball for free. Ben Zobrist has 2 hits and 2 runs scored. Royals with 8 runs on 13 hits. The Royals have the best winning percentage in baseball when they have 10 or more hits. Last year and into this year, the number to hope for, look out for, was the Royals scoring 4 or more runs. And this year it's 10 or more hits. The Royals are 40 games above 500 when they have 10 or more hits. Best winning percentage in baseball. 2-1.
So Infante's last 3 hits have been triples. He got one last night or yesterday afternoon. Seems like last night. 3 triples in his last 5 at-bats.
Ball 4. Zobrist doesn't have the same concern for his bat when he walks as he does when he hits the ball hard.
Yeah, just that lousy walk. But he definitely, you see that now, he's just going to throw it. Well, he kind of tossed it. He didn't really throw it, but when he hits a home, or when he hits a ball solidly, he squares it up. He sets the bat down gently, like there's a do not disturb sign on his bat.
Lorenzo Cain. He has a 3-hit game. He drove in the final 2 runs in the 7-run 6th inning. One and one. A win tonight, and the Royals will have 7 consecutive winning months. Going back to last year, only the Cardinals have had more. They've had 8 straight winning months. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hochevar will get the top of the 9th inning. And with a win tonight, the Royals would reach 28 games above 500 for the first time in 35 years. If you saw what happened yesterday in Boston, I'm sure the Red Sox were preparing for a little post-game spread and a little celebration when they had a 2-run lead in the top of the 9th inning, not expecting the Royals to score 4.
They weren't the only ones. I talked to some Royals fans today. They said, well, when Infante got thrown out at home, and that was it. They thought it was over.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
That's the fans. The players, they thought differently. Zobrist was telling me before the game that this team, they have a knack to not quit. They believe, even down to the very last out, they still believe someone's going to ignite them. And with those 2-out numbers that they have and their comeback wins, there you go. There's enough belief right there in the proof of the numbers.
He looks good in that uniform, doesn't he?
Oh, man. And believe it, there's going to be some more free agents and players out there that are going to say, I would love to be in that uniform.
Zobrist runs again. Cain strikes out on a wicked slider thrown by Rondon. So the Royals with runners at the corners. Runners stranded at the corners, and now Hochevar trying to finish it off. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery. They're coming up soon with Boulevard Royals Live with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, and associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. Top of the order against Luke Hochevar. And the Orioles are without a hit since the 4th inning. Medlin and Morales combined to set down the last 13 Orioles hitters. Strike to Manny Machado. He swung at the first pitch of the game and doubled. 1 for 3 tonight.
And you know, before this series started here, we knew that the Orioles had an outstanding offensive team. 4th in RBIs, 4th in homers, 5th in runs. They're a powerful team, but you know, the pitching tonight has been really good.
Machado. Good start for Hochevar.
Ooh, man. Hoch, he's not messing around. Says, I'm coming out there with this lead here, and I'm going to go right after you with a little cutter here. See how you handle that. And Machado, you got to go.
Gerardo Parra is 0 for 3. One ball, one strike. Very creative sign.
What a wonderful phrase. Have you seen some of those movies around your household?
Some of those movies? Which ones are you referring to?
The Disney movies. All those movies.
Yeah, which Disney movie are you referring to right there?
That's Lion King.
Okay, here you go.
My boys don't watch those anymore, but they did.
Yes. I have seen Cars 227 times. Hochevar strikes out 2.
Hochevar's curveball has got some good depth to it, a lot like Chris Medlin we saw earlier tonight executing that pitch, and it's a tough one to hit.
27,797 here tonight. How far we have come, where it's surprising to write down a crowd less than 30,000 on the scorecard. Adam Jones had a little better swing in the first inning when he hit a 2-run home run than that one.
Try that 96 boring in fastball.
Mike Moustakas, what a night. For the first time in 35 years, the Royals are 28 games above 500. Riding a 7-run 6th inning against Ubaldo Jimenez and Brad Brock. The Royals win tonight 8-3. They are now 15-7 in August. That is 7 consecutive winning months for the Kansas City Royals.
And they did it all in 2 hours and 18 minutes. Big smile for Skipper Ned. Why not? What a 6th inning.
A franchise record 7 consecutive winning months. 7 runs, all with 2 outs.
Yep, every bit of them, and they're just putting those 2-out numbers in orbit. It's been fantastic how they don't give in. They just feed off of one another. They find the holes, and they put up a huge crooked number. Beautiful.
Lorenzo Cain had the last hit of that 7-run inning. He's down in the field with Joel.
Thanks, Ryan. That was one of his 3 hits on the game. Lorenzo Cain, the 3-hit contest, and he's saying to his buddy right now, Salvador Perez, don't do it. Okay, what happened in that big inning there? You guys only had 4 hits the first few innings, and then suddenly 8 hits in 1 inning.
Guys just locked in. We came up with a big inning. Guys swung the bats really well. Came up with some clutch situations, and did a great job swinging it back.
My amigo. Get all that ice out. Salvi says, that a boy, my amigo. Yes. All right, let's talk about the offense again. You guys have seen Ubaldo Jimenez over the years. He looked really good those first 5 innings. So what changed? How infectious was it as one hit starts following the next?
Yeah, we all feed off each other. So guys stepped up in big situations. Guys came with a clutch hit, OMAR. I mean, the whole team. So guys came up with big RBIs, and we was able to get the win tonight.
How important are Alex Rios and Omar Infante? Both have been heating up. Omar 3 triples now in the last 2 games, and Rios has a 6-game hitting streak.
Yeah, we need everyone in the clubhouse. We need everybody to come out and produce each and every night. We try to pick each other up each and every night. So we're a family in there. So we just try to get it done each and every night.
I think everybody here thought you had that ball initially in the first inning. Take us through it. Did you know that it was going to be overturned?
I didn't know. I knew it popped out my glove, but I didn't see it hit the wall. So at the end of the day, it hit me in the chest, and I came up with it. But on the replay, it hit the wall. So, double for him.
I think we're hearing a few more MVP chants again. How nice to be home.
It's always nice to be back home.
Lorenzo Cain, thank you. Nice night for him and the rest of the offense. We'll talk much more about it coming up on Boulevard Royals Live.
Great night, and this is about the only way that you can cool down Lorenzo Cain. He knew it was coming, took it like a man.